Hey, this is John Fernay, the co-host of the Maryland Crabs, and I am here today with a Maryland crab cake for your listening pleasure. What's a crab cake? It's not quite a full episode, it's just a little snippet. Stay tuned and check it out. And make sure you check us out on themarylandcrabs.com. You can follow us on Twitter at MD Crabs Podcast or find us on Facebook at the Maryland Crabs Podcast. And don't forget, subscribe, rate us, iTunes. Go there now. We're sitting in a great new office of Liquefied Creative on 2nd and Severn. I'm not sure what the exact address is. What is it, Mr. North?
It's actually 222 Severn Avenue. We're building 2.
And this is a wonderful old sail loft that's been created for Liquefied Creative and quadrupled your space that you had, which is wonderful. But we also have Ms. Kelly Brown, who is the CEO and the Executive Director of the Arundel County SPCA. You've got tons of news and everything coming out of the SPCA, in addition to all the great puppies and kitties and other animals that you adopt out there every single day. Right now, this time of the year, it's a magical holiday season, and you guys have had Lights on the Bay for the last 2 years?
Yes, actually, we acquired it in 2017, so this is our 3rd year.
And Lights on the Bay, for those that are listening that don't know what it is, this is the magical drive that you can take through Sandy Point Park, and I don't know the exact mileage. It's probably
2 miles.
Right along the bay, and it has lights, it has animations, it's got cool 3D glasses that will make everything sparkle, and it really just adds some magic to the holiday season as you celebrate between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
That's right.
And actually through New Year's, because you guys are open through and including January 1st, right?
Correct. That's right.
This used to be a thing of the hospital, and you guys jumped in on this, and I've got to say that the SPCA has done a wonderful job with just raising your awareness in the county. 10 years ago, I wouldn't say you weren't known, but it was just, oh yeah, the SPCA is down the road and whatnot. But you guys are everywhere. You're just doing such wonderful work. You're out there sponsoring different things. Your name is out there. And that has to translate into, regardless of the Lights on the Bay and everything else, to getting animals into loving homes forever.
Yes, we've been trying really hard. So I'm glad to see it's making a difference. The community has been so supportive of all the new things we've been putting out. Our new programs have helped. Obviously, Lights on the Bay has helped also. And just, we do a lot of community outreach, and I think that's helping us a lot.
It absolutely is. Well, let's talk a little bit about Lights on the Bay. And the reason that Sean Nortel is here from Liquefied Creative is Liquefied Creative is one of the lead sponsors of this, and you have been for many years.
Yes, actually, we started this becoming a sponsor back in 2009. So this is about our 10th year with Lights on the Bay itself. Over the years, we've become more and more engaged with the actual Lights on the Bay and also with SPCA themselves, where we actually become engaged with the marketing efforts. And also, I think this year we're actually doing a blanket drive for you guys.
Yes.
And we actually got my son's elementary school involved, and they actually made a delivery yesterday.
Yes, they did.
There's another delivery coming.
Yay!
So.
That's fabulous.
There's a lot of need. I mean, you guys have a lead. I remember when you guys had a air conditioner break a couple of years ago.
That's right. Yes.
And it went out to like Facebook, and it was like next thing you knew, the HVAC companies of the world were like, okay, we're there.
Very supportive. They were there. And we got a whole bunch of fans donated from the community hardware stores. So absolutely.
So it's, you've obviously made your mark on the community. And obviously, I think Sean and Liquefied Creative has made their mark on the SPCA and in turn the community as well. Because as you go through, I know the big fence at Sandy Point Park, as you enter and leave, you'll see all the main sponsors that are there and highlighted there.
Yes.
What's it take to get Lights on the Bay going? Setting it up and everything else. This has got to be... And it just sort of magically appears the day before Thanksgiving, it seems, and then it disappears the day after New Year's because Sandy Point Park has tons of other things that are going on.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty magical. That my first year, I thought, oh my gosh, what is this about? I mean, and we were so thrilled and honored to be able to continue this tradition in the community. But then I thought, okay, how does this all happen? So we're very fortunate. We have Kathy who helps us. She's our sort of the show manager. And she was also with Anne Arundel Medical Center helping them. So she came with the show, which was nice. She asked me, she said, do you want me to be part of this and help you? And I said, absolutely. And so we have like 3 tractor trailers full of displays that come in. We own 2 of the tractor trailers with a lot of the displays. It's about 70 displays that are through the 2-mile road. And And it's pretty amazing. We get our volunteers out there, and we literally are taking everything off the displays. We're changing the light bulbs. We have groups of volunteers. Even some high schools have helped. Military groups have come in and helped. So the community gets involved, and it's a lot of fun. And so we take all the displays out on one Saturday, and we lay them all out in the parking lot. And then the following Saturday, we start to do the light bulbs and everything else. And there is a company that comes in and actually puts them up. But all the volunteers that are out there are helping and assisting in making that happen.
Okay, and where does the power come from? Is it generators, or does Sandy Point have electricity where you can plug it in?
Yes, Sandy Point has, yes. They have the electricity. Yeah, so we have separate boxes with the electric company that we actually work out of. So it's pretty exciting. And watching it all come together is just absolutely amazing.
And so it really basically it's a 2-week process of setting it up, or a
2 to 3 weeks of that we're involved, but obviously throughout the week, the company that's setting up the show is there pretty much every day for 3 weeks. It takes about 3 weeks to set up the entire show.
And then it runs for, depending on when Thanksgiving
6
falls,
weeks.
It runs for. Do you know where the concept came from originally? And obviously the lights display predates your involvement with the SPCA, but where did it come from?
I believe the history of it with the Anne Arundel Medical Center was Carl Brunetto, who was once the CEO of the hospital. I believe when he was there, it was his idea to start this, and it's just been such a great hit with the community. I mean, so many memories for people. Every time people talk about it, they talk about being there with their parents or grandparents or their kids, and people have gotten engaged there. I mean, lots of fun things happen there. It's really nice to be part of this.
It's a tradition for my family. We typically go on Christmas Eve. And we get a dinner and figure out, okay, what are we going to do until Santa comes? And then we say, let's go to Sandy Point Park. To get in, it's fairly simple. For a car, you jam as many people as you possibly can into the car, and it's $20 will get you in.
That's right. Bring all your family and friends.
And it's a little bit more if you've got a bus or a...
Right, the buses are $50.
You guys there's some special nights that are offered throughout the event, and there's also some various coupons. Typically, I've seen a couple like for $5 off per carload that you can
Yes,
pick
those
up
are the
at
ones that are at different places. Girls Market has them, and then obviously any of our sponsors, they have them at their locations too.
Right. So
and then obviously the newspaper, the Capitol has them, What's Up Magazine has them. They're everywhere.
There's also coupons that go out to all of the Anne Arundel public schools.
Yes,
for all the students, they receive a $5 discount coupon.
Yeah, that's important for us to
flyer
say.
that they can bring home to mom and dad or whoever their guardian is. A number of our sponsors do have their own individual nights. You've got the Grawls Evening. You've got Cape Ace Hardware that has an evening. Focus on Women. There's also the Graduate Annapolis. And we just recently had the Military and First Responders Night, which was half price, which was sponsored by Comcast themselves. I believe tonight is Bright Key.
Yes.
And then on Saturday, Liquefied has a night. And you bring a blanket for the SPCA, and you get a $5 off.
You're tying in that whole
we kind of pull it all together.
Blanket thing together.
Yeah, it's the blanket thing. And then Annapolis Cars has an evening. So there's always an opportunity to get a discounted price to get in. And I always tell people, it's like, you have to remember, this is to benefit the SPCA at the end of the day. But there are discounted opportunities.
We missed it this year, but for next year, you certainly need to do it. And I know the rain wasn't a friend of you for one night, but you guys also open this up or close it to vehicles for a couple nights.
We do, and it's really exciting. The Friday before the show opens, Annapolis Striders they have their Dashing Through the Show. Gosh, it's great. It's about 400 to 500 people show up, and they're all dressed up with their lights and fun, festive clothing and stuff, and they run through, and it's really great because it's a lot of families. We serve hot chocolate, and we have the Christmas music, and we have Santa Claus there to see them off. That's been going on for many years, and then the Saturday before the show opens, we have Lights and Leashes, which is the only time you can actually walk through the show, and you're able to, and you walk through with your dog. Huge. We probably had over 1,600 people come.
Now, has that been a thing all along, the Lights and Leashes?
Lights and Leashes is about, I'd say it's about 6 years old. Okay. And we started that even when Anne Arundel Medical Center
right, because you
had
guys
the
were
show.
heavily involved with it when Anne Arundel Medical Center had it as well, and I know that you were a beneficiary of it as well for a smaller beneficiary at this point. How does this rank as far as you guys do some wonderful events. I mean, you've got the events at Quiet Waters Park. You've got the puppy plunge. You've got the 5Ks and everything else, and all the little ones that you see popping up at different bars. I know you had I can't remember what they called it. It was like a park and adopt a pup, something on Main Street.
Yes, the pop-up. Yeah.
Is this like one of your major fundraisers?
It actually, yes. This has become one of our biggest fundraisers. The walk is neck and neck with this, the Walk for the Animals, which has been going on for many years, as we all know, at Quiet Waters Park, and that happens in May. Yes, and Puppy Plunge is one of our bigger ones, but this has definitely become, because it's 6 weeks long, and Lights and Leashes is another big one for us. But yes, this is a great fundraiser for us.
Now, well, Sean, what possessed you to get into this? Was this like all good ideas? I remember speaking with former Senator Astle, and he said that he got into politics over some beers at a bar.
I wish it was beers at the bar. Definitely. It actually started off kind of in the same situation as you. It became a family tradition that we did every Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving dinner, we'd all pile into the car. We would go down to Sandy Point, go to Lights on the Bay. It was about the third or fourth year of being in business, and we saw how much of a great family tradition it was. And we knew that the actual event was actually, the funds were going to a great cause. So, and this was back when it was the medical center, and we decided, this is something that we wanted to sponsor because we knew it was going back to the community. It was a family tradition that not only that we were able to obtain, but it was also something we could share for the community and make sure it was there for years to come. So that's actually where it started, and then we became very close strategic partners with the nonprofits that were, heading that. It was Anne Arundel Medical Center Foundation, and that was with Kelly's SPCA here. We felt as a company, one of our key items that we look at is to give back to the community that we are able to run our business out of. It's important, especially when it comes back to humanities and the arts and healthcare. It's a passion of ours.
Well, it has. And if you take notice, you will notice Liquefy Creative pops up any number of different places. I happen to notice you on the back of my Maritime Republic of Eastport tug of war shirt this year. You are involved in that. You are a graduate of Leadership Anne Arundel.
That's correct.
Well. And that's it's a wonderful organization that turns around and really it gives you an insight into the inner workings of the county and what makes things tick, not so much from this is what Public Works does, but I mean, that's part of it, but what makes the community that it is. And it challenges people to turn around and take that education and do something with it.
Right. And I think it's a little bit different because it also allows us the opportunity to learn how to work together as a county with the nonprofits, with the commercial and business sector and things like that, to really make Anne Arundel County itself a better place.
Well, we are. We're very diverse. I mean, we've got high density to next to no density. We've got black and white and male and female and rich and poor and everything in between. And we do all have to live together.
So true.
It's kind of interesting. And I want to jump back here to you, Kelly, on the SPCA. And one thing that you guys are not affiliated with the ASPCA, right?
Correct. We are a nonprofit, 501c3, but we're private. So we do not get any government or county funding, not affiliated with any of the national organizations that a lot of people
and that's
hear about.
Right? It's the ASPCA,
correct.
Which is the American Society for Professional Cruelty to Animals?
Yes.
And is that's up in New York or something?
Correct, and it's a national organization. Yeah, we're private, which a lot of people don't know. I mean, so many people say, oh, I donate to you all the time. And we say, oh, really? Yeah, I send my checks to New York. I'm like, that's not us.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, one of the things, and Sean can attest to this, is that you've got these nonprofits that are local, as well as businesses that are local. And it's so important to really support on the local level. And it doesn't matter whether you're going out to a Midnight Madness and shopping in a local store, or whether you're looking for something to get rid of $25 or $50 or $100.
Right.
I know I would much rather buy a basketball that goes to the Annapolis Boys and Girls Club for $15 than I would give $15. And I hate to, point fingers because they do a good job, but the United Way, that $15, I know that just a sliver of that is actually going to go to programs. And that's just my personal thing that I would like to see, the local community nonprofits. And these are the guys that really need it too. You look at the SPCA you've got a building that you're building that you've got a wonderful, generous benefactor that passed away and left you a sizable chunk of money to be able to build a building and expand that to care for the animals. You look at different things like Seeds for Success that started on a shoestring, and now they've got their own place, and they're teaching kids how to read, and they've got these just wonderful success stories. But that's all sweat equity by the neighbors in the community that is putting it together. It's not this giant corporate thing. And if you give $25 to Seeds for Success, that's buying books, and that's buying helping to pay the electricity. So
goes a long way.
So that girl can come in there and learn how to read and succeed in high school and beyond.
Right.
And that's what's so great about this. When we acquired this from the Arundel Medical Center, I mean, people, like Liquefied Creative. I mean, look how great they make us look. These ads are amazing, and everybody's loving them. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen them in all the different magazines and social media and the paper and stuff. But I mean, this is such amazing work, and for us to have the opportunity to have this representing the SPCA, I mean, that's community supporting what we're doing. And
that's the creative part of Liquefied Creative.
Yes, it is. There you go.
Who is the creative genius here? Is that you?
That begins with me as the creative director and also founding partner here at the Liquefied Creative, but I can't take all of the credit. I've got a fantastic team,
yes,
no question about it. And, just like any other nonprofit, everyone in here carries a different hat. And they're always switching hats, which amazes me also, is how versatile and flexible we are and agile. I mean, if something needs to get done, we get it done. You don't have to go through all these layers of bureaucracy, and you're getting it done in professional and high quality without any question. And there's a passion behind it. Everyone here, some way, some form, has adopted a pet from the SPCA or gone to a rescue and things like that. And they're engaged in the nonprofits just as closely as the company is. So
it's and the ads, I will say that the graphics and the creative that's come out of there have been really entertaining and a lot of fun.
They're great.
The 3D glasses and the pictures and the puppy faces and whatnot. And you guys even recently did a Posing the Puppies. I saw the SPCA in front of the rocks I'm trying to remember what that was, but it's you've certainly come a long way.
Yes, we have.
The SPCA is more than just dogs and cats, though.
Yes.
And what's the process with how do we support you in? I mean, we can obviously all write a check and drop it off to you on Bay Ridge,
yeah.
Bay Ridge Avenue. That's always welcome.
Thank you.
Certainly load up the car and go to Sandy Point State Park,
right,
or take part of the Walk for the Animals or the Puppy Plunge or any of the other different events that you have. But let's talk about adopting these fur babies and critters and slithering things and everything else. And how does this? What do you guys have there?
Well, obviously, that's our mission, and that's what our goal is, to adopt as many animals as we can. We have an adoption process, which is 2 to 7 days adoption that you apply for the animal, and we just want to make sure that it's a really great fit for everybody, for the animal and for the people. We want it to be exactly what they are looking for it to be, which is to come in, get an animal that fits wonderfully in their home. So we definitely help with that with our adoption counselors and stuff. But at any given time, we're caring for about 500 animals. Some are in foster. Most are in our buildings, but we do have the small animals, the ferrets and the rats and the guinea pigs, which are always very popular too.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you do snakes?
We've had snakes. We have birds. We take whatever the community needs us to take for the smalls too.
And one thing I do like about you, as far as being, I'll say, an ethical agency that does that. I know when I adopted my cat out of there was the strict instructions. Okay, you need to get it to a vet. We've examined it and everything else. You need to get it to a vet, and you need to send us the report that the vet sent back, and you're tough about that. And I remember that it was roughly right around the holiday time, and it was the vet was closed. I couldn't get the appointment, and I got those calls. Hey,
did you?
have you had your appointment? It's scheduled. It's scheduled.
Yes.
And I think that's really great, both for the people that are adopting as well as for the animals that are being adopted, because there's nothing worse to have an animal and find out that you don't like it. I mean, want to eliminate as much disappointment
as you
possibly. Now, I know some shelters and some animal protection organizations will not adopt out over the holidays. Do you do that?
We want to make sure that it's not going to be a gift. Because I think sometimes that's what happens is, unfortunately, in January, we end up getting a lot of people's Christmas gifts when they go to a shop and adopt at a pet shop or grab them from a breeder and surprise someone. Because, it's a big decision. You're adding a family member to your home and to your life. And obviously, there's a lot of great responsibility that comes with it. But we just encourage people to make sure that everybody's on board and everybody everybody's going to care for this animal. We have a lot of animals that come in 12, 13 years old that have never seen a vet. It's very sad. They're not spayed or neutered. And unfortunately, because of the lack of vet care, their health, they have many health issues, which, we take care of as best as we can. But if they go on for so long, we're kind of behind all of it.
Does the SPCA of Anne Arundel County offer gift certificates or gift cards?
Oh, yes, absolutely. What's great is a lot of people, when they come to the shelter, like, how can we help? How can we donate? And they wanted to specifically donate to an animal or something besides just, like you said, writing a check. And you can sponsor an animal or sponsor an adoption. Some people that have come in and there may be a dog or a cat that's been there for a while because they come in frequently. And that makes everybody sad that they're not in a home yet. And so they sponsor the adoption and hoping that may encourage people to adopt sooner or adopt that particular animal.
Okay, but I mean, as far as like if I wanted to give Sean a cute kitten for Christmas.
Sean's like, let me check with my wife first.
Exactly.
But I don't know whether he's a calico man or a tabby man or or something like that. And I mean, I certainly would want to presume that he would want a kitten. But I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, could I get a certificate for the adoption fees to maybe give somebody?
Well, you can now because that's a great idea.
That way you're not giving, you're giving the animal, but that gives
that's a great idea.
Be able to bond.
See, look, we got a great idea out of today. I love this. Well, we also have our vaccine clinic and also our clinic that's open for spaying and neutering and spay or neutering, and also some other services. So. Yeah, sure. Sean could use it for that.
Yes, exactly.
Now you know what your Christmas present is like.
That's right. Stocking stuffers.
What is your mix right now? Mostly dogs?
Mostly cats. Typically, we typically have more cats than dogs. And then we have our petite suite with the smalls in there. So for some reason, there's just so many more cats in the world than there are dogs. Obviously, the mating and things like that. And a lot of the animal, the feral cats that are out in the community and stuff.
And one of the things that I think is that a lot of people always, I guess, gravitate toward puppies and kittens.
Yes.
And which is great. Mm-hmm. But again, you talk about the responsibility that comes with owning a dog.
Yes.
You can probably double that up when you get a puppy or a kitten, just because you've got to train them. You've got to teach them and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And some of the older dogs that have been there are just so loving.
Oh my gosh, they're wonderful.
They've been trained, and they just want to sit at somebody's feet and have somebody scratch their ears.
They're asking for a lot less. They really are. They just want a nice warm home or a sofa to lay on or a lap to sit on. And our seniors it's really nice. The community supports our seniors a lot. A lot of people are coming in now asking for seniors because they may not be wanting to take on the commitment of a puppy. Puppies are always fun and stuff. But the unfortunate thing, too, is so many people take on a puppy not realizing what goes with it. And the training is so great. It'll make it a much happier home for everybody if they give them the proper training. We do get some dogs that come to us because, this puppy's crazy. The puppy's not, listening and things like that. And a lot of it is just that they weren't educated in what they needed to do for the puppy to succeed.
And it is work.
It is.
Don't ever sell that
It's
short.
worth it, but it's work.
not an easy job. What are your most popular types of dogs? I mean, that you have. I mean, I know for a while that the bull breeds were plentiful and.
Yes. I mean, obviously, the pit bulls and the bully breeds move slower, but a lot of it is just because we have more of them. So it seems as if they move slower. And so many people say, all you have is pit bulls. And it's not that. It's just that if you go through our dog room, the small dogs and some of the other breeds just move faster. And that's why it seems like, the other ones are lingering and we have more of them.
When I got my dog, I had my criteria was I didn't want it to shed. Mm-hmm. and I wanted little poops.
Oh yes, there you go. Well, then you get the small ones.
As far as the cleanup and the shedding, so it was because I'm not real great about keeping the house as clean as it should be. So I figured, less dog hair would be okay.
That always helps, right? And we've been pulling in dogs from other shelters that are high kill or low kill shelters. So we reach out continuously if we have the space or the foster people, the fosters available, and because unfortunately the other shelters, they run out of space and their euthanasia obviously is
you mentioned a couple times the dogs are fostered. Mm-hmm. What is the difference between fostering and adopting?
Oh, fostering is that you're not committing to adopting. So they're not yours. They're still our dogs, and you're just kind enough to open your home to them.
Do I just take it for a 6-week period and bring it back? Or
It varies. It could be anywhere from 2 days or 2 nights of sleepover. It just depends if it's a medical situation or a behavioral. A lot of dogs obviously are surrendered to us because they're just not social or they have an issue, and people, just give up or have to give up on them. And so they bring them to us, and we just kind of, and a lot of times too, if they've been at the shelter a while, we want to see how they do in the home. So if they do have behavioral issues, they're not ready to be adopted. We have fosters who are just kind enough to open their home and say, okay, I'll just let them hang out, kind of let them decompress and see what their behavior is in a home. Yes, in a home, because shelter environment's so different than a home. And it's amazing. We think sometimes we can adopt and say, oh, this dog is great and everything else. And then they get home and maybe they have separation anxiety or something.
Sure.
And we don't know that. We do the best we can of figuring out, anything medical. We take care of that before, obviously, adoption.
So if I were to look to adopt a dog that is being fostered, I mean, I'm assuming you've got pictures and descriptions.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Of them, and I'm like, Frankie looks like be a good mix.
Yeah.
What do you just bring him back in? And
the foster brings them back in. And what's so great is you can talk to the foster, and they have so much more information to give because and it's nice. Our foster, being a no-kill shelter, we rely on our fosters a lot.
You guys are a no-kill shelter?
We are a no-kill shelter, and our save rate's 98% right now. So,
and I'm assuming that there are some animals that come in with that are sick or injured too badly.
Yes.
That does. And the other thing I want to talk about is you also work with this police departments.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I think the cops all have like a key to the back door.
They do, in case they find a dog running at large, or sometimes unfortunately people keep their dogs locked in the car on hot days and stuff. So they know how to get the dogs to us, and 24/7. It takes a village. Yes, it does.
It really does, and it works for animals as well. What's next on the agenda for Liquefied and the SPCA? What after Lights on the Bay?
Well, the SPCA is celebrating 100 years next year, so that'll be our 100th.
Look at day over 25.
I know, isn't that amazing? It's amazing. See, hanging out with the dogs and cats, what it does for you.
100 years.
Yes.
Holy cow.
SPCA started in 1920, so next year's a big year for us. So we're hoping Liquefied Creative helps us create some wonderful things in the community and make us look good as they've made us look for Lights on the Bay.
So that way, you've got to feature, like, if my math is right, about 13-year-old dogs, right? Times 7.
There you go. That's right. I like that idea.
100-year-old
That's right.
dogs.
Yes. So our goal is to do something. Fun event or fundraiser for each month next year. That's what my goal is. So we're getting that on the calendar. Yeah.
100 years. I had no idea.
In that location. Yeah.
Has it been in the same location?
Mm-hmm. Same location since 1920. Actually, the administrative building that my office is in and our clinic is the building is from 1920, and we feel every bit of it because it's like, the air conditioning, and now it's this. So, yes, we've been band-aiding a lot on the property and the buildings because I think we call it our newest building. It's 1986.
Okay.
That's the new building.
you guys are right across the creek from me.
Yes.
And it's funny, I'll go out there, and as I said, I had to put my dog down in June, and you get like this beckoning. You hear these dogs barking in the distance. I'm like,
they're calling you.
Wait a minute. Let's just take a little bit of a break for now.
That's right. Let us come home with you.
But wow, 100 years. That's amazing. And you guys are working on that now, Sean?
We're ready for anything.
They're great to work with. Wonderful.
That's great. How did you guys get hooked up anyway? I mean, was it through the sponsorship of Lights on the Bay?
Yes, it was actually through Lights on the Bay when it shifted over to Kelly's team, and we got involved in a couple different things with them. So.
Fantastic. Well, again, Lights on the Bay runs through and including January 1st. The hours are 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. And you just need to talk to the smiling ranger at the gate at Sandy Point State Park and turn off your headlights. Do not be that irritating guy behind me with the headlights on.
That's right.
If you do not know how to do that, learn how to do that on your car before you get there, as opposed to doing that.
Turn on your Christmas music and have a good time.
Pick up the glasses too. I think they call them 3D glasses.
They do. The kids love them. Actually, all ages love them.
Sean, said you've been doing this for your family tradition forever. What's your favorite display? And I know they change up a little bit from year to year, but there are some traditional ones that are there. What's your favorite?
I know this year it is the pirate ship. That's the big theme this year. But I hear it from everyone, and it's the one thing everyone looks for is the big red teddy bear.
Yes.
On the corner. It's always been there, and that's always been its signature location as you kind of come back around.
Right.
It's one of those things that the kids always look for.
And it's
What's
fun.
yours?
Well, I love the teddy bear too. And a little fun fact is that it takes 4 people and 4 hours to put the teddy bear up, and one of his ears is the size of an average hood of a car. So he's a big bear. And I remember Kathy sharing with me that one year they said, "Oh, well, you know what? Let's just not do the teddy bear. Let's try to change it up." And everybody looked for the teddy bear. They wanted to know where it was.
This woman?
I know.
What the hell is she talking about?
Well, no.
It's not going to happen.
Let's just try to change up the show. And obviously everyone was like, where's the teddy bear? The other favorite is the midshipmen tossing their hats. Obviously that's a favorite. And and the tunnel. The tunnel is always fun for everybody.
Okay, so you hit 2 of my 3. I mean, I love the
What's your
reindeer
favorite?
jumping.
Oh, yes.
And I love the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And the midshipmen are probably my 3 there.
Yeah. And each year we try to add some new things. This year, obviously, the pirate ship was big, and everybody noticed. It's great because people go year after year, so you definitely want to change it up, and people appreciate
it. It really is. And, my suggestion when you go through, relax, drive real slow, take as much time as you need.
Yeah.
Nobody really should be in a hurry behind you. And just really marvel at what this is. Take a look at what's beyond it. You've got the beautiful Chesapeake Bay. You've got the Bay Bridge that you see at one point there as you come around. It's really kind of magical without the lights without the ambient lights, I guess.
That's right.
Because you almost get lost in there.
You do.
You sit there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where we're here.
I know.
Which is great. But you guys do a tremendous job on this, and I, certainly thank Liquefied Creative. You've got Growls. I know that's a sponsor here.
Great sponsors. I mean, the sponsors help to make this happen. Obviously, it takes. Obviously, it's a big expense to put the show on, but we have the community backing us and wanting us to continue it, and we're so honored to be able to put this on for the community.
Well, you're doing a great job. Again, 10 to 5 through January 1st, $20 for as many people as you can jam into your car. But let's be real. Let's be comfortable.
That's right. You want to be able to see the show.
Take it in there. No, none allowed in the trunk. They don't check the trunks, but don't put anybody in the trunk. Enjoy Lights on the Bay for 2019.
And it's 25 years for the Lights on the Bay this year. So the show's been going on for 25 years. Pretty fun.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Very much, Sean.
Thank you, John.
This has been the Maryland Crabs podcast with Tim Hamilton and John Fernay. Sure to follow them at all the regular places, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and online at themarylandcrabs.com. Take a moment to rate us on iTunes. Now, get the hell out of my kitchen. Seriously, go!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.